Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank, live from the Optic Major Day 2. I'm joined by Chris Duarte, a.k.a. Parasite. We got Benjay Nassim, and then, of course, we got the one and only Patrick Price, a.k.a. Aches, who finally was able to make it here. Pat, how was your flight? How was everything going? Everything good?
The flight wasn't too bad, Tom, but the Uber ride to the hotel was a little
I
rocky,
heard you had
rocky.
some problems. What happened, Pat? Let them know.
Yeah, my Uber driver may have been a little under the influence, gotten a little accident, lost their mirror. The mirror was riding passenger seat on the way to the hotel, but look, we got here, Tom. We got here.
You made it here safe. That's all that matters. Pat, it's a pleasure to have you. We missed you yesterday. Chris, how you doing? I know you've been playing in challenges today. You haven't lost, right?
Yeah, we won both our matches. We play Decimate, which is that team with Dave, Patty, Yuli, and Prolute tomorrow. So we'll play those guys tomorrow morning. But yeah.
Oh, yeah,
good.
man.
Can't
And
complain.
then, of course, we got the one and only Benjay Nassim. Ben, we were here all day watching the matches, getting turned. Had a few drinks, some pizza. We're feeling nice, man. A lot of good matches
You didn't
today.
have no pizza. That was crim.
Okay,
Crim
I had
we
like one
pizza.
slice, and Porter ate like 2 boxes by himself. I've never seen anything like it before. But
now it's been good. I've been here for like 11 hours already. We were grinding, doing a little bit of the morning stream, and as always, Friday's a banger with the 5 matches.
Yep.
And I would say overall we had some results that we expected, but we had 2 massive upsets that we're going to talk about later on in the show that I don't think anyone saw coming.
Definitely not. I mean, the matches today were absolutely insane. We'll get into it. The first match of the day was actually a losers round 1. Every single match today was a losers bracket match. So if you lost, you're out. You're going home. First match, we had the Los Angeles Guerrillas going up against the Vegas Legion. We'll switch on over. We'll take a look at the stats. But this was one that went to Vegas. Vegas went up 3-1.
6 people on the LAG for
First
first.
4v6 ever.
So take a look at these stats, and you will notice that there's 2 extra players for the Los Angeles Guerrillas. And you might sit here and say, why? Arcades, he felt a little ill after the first map. Wasn't feeling too well. They had to make an emergency substitution. But the 2 subs that LAG have, Spart and Neptune, were both in the middle of a challengers match at the time. So they brought in Marky B for the second map, Search and Destroy. He came in, he dropped a whopping 0-6 in the second map. And then we go into the third map, and somehow, someway, LAG wins the Fortress control. They're able to take an offense off the Vegas Legion, and they're able to take the control. And then, of course, we go to the 4th map, where Spart ended up coming in for Marky B, and they ended up losing it there. But
It was a close game.
it was a really close game,
close.
and it was a good match. But LAG, they definitely fell short this weekend. I mean, Ben, we'll kick it off with you. Taking a look at those stats as well, really seems like they struggled in the slaying department. I mean, what happened to the Los Angeles Guerrillas this weekend?
Well, obviously, hopefully Alex feeling good. I know he tweeted just like a heart emoji, but I haven't heard anything else. So I just assume maybe it's dehydrated or something. What's going on there? For LAG, man, I think, last weekend they were sitting, 0-3, and we're like, this team's kind of chalked, and they won 2 matches, beating Vegas, backed into the 8th spot. We're like, okay, maybe they're good. Pulled up here, had a tough one against Seattle, and then this series, I think just a lot of the stuff we've seen with this LAG team, especially in the respawn, they've really regressed from where they were when they first came in the spot. The S&D is decent at times, but really spotty. I think there's a lot for them to work on with the squad, and I think the biggest problem, I think we talked about it on the last show, is just they have too many ARs.
Yeah,
Now
agreed.
can assault.
I feel like the too many yards is a problem. Go ahead, Pat.
I was going to say, when they went 0-3, they were kind of all getting shit on, but when they won those 2 matches at the end of the online matches, Assault was frying.
Yeah.
Like, he fried in both those series. And he also fried in the first series they played against Surge. Like, if you look at those stats, like
He
was
played
the,
well versus
he
Seattle.
was the best player on the team, and they went the distance. They arguably could have won that series. But here he got shit on, and I think he's a huge X factor for this team. Like, he has to perform well. But I don't know. I'm kind of bummed that Alec didn't play. I know Ben, you say he didn't feel well, but I don't know. I kind of feel like at this stage with everything that's going on at LAG, bro, you just gotta battle through that. Like,
I'm not really too sure what happened.
You don't know
with him.
how he was feeling.
Yeah,
or
I don't know what
was going on,
happened.
So I would just
I mean,
be
did
careful
you
with
hear anything,
speculating.
Chris, about
No,
what happened to Alec?
Maybe I'll ask them later. But I was just going to touch on, this series, at least, this series is chalk. Bro, I mean, the guy was sick first map, and then after that, I'm not really taking any thing from stats or the performance because, bro, it's just mental chalk.
It was chalked.
They fought back on the map 4 with an actual player, but I mean, this team just struggles in hardpoint now. I feel like their S&D is pretty good. They've been able to push teams or win those S&Ds. Their control's been all right. But like you said, they just have 2 main ARs, and I think that when these guys go back home, I think they probably look at potential solutions to that. The thing is, though, with like Arcitys being like how like star-studded he is, and then him obviously being sick this event, you can't really like gauge like what he's been doing for the team, like because he was sick.
Right.
So like dropping him, for example, and trying to get like a flex player, because I don't think you drop Assault here. Like I'm sorry, Alec, but like
I wouldn't drop Assault.
Alec has not been playing good this entire year, and yeah, I'm sure he's been going through stuff. And here he was sick, but like, what does this team do? Because I think Exceed's been playing a lot better. I still think that this team is kind of, I guess, investing
they
in
were
Joe.
finding a lot of success in challengers with Diamond Con. Maybe bringing Diamond Con in might help.
The thing is, though, like with the rumors of like LAG like potentially going to give away their CDL spot or whatever because the organization's pulling out of esports,
They just don't care.
they're not going to like go and get this guy a visa. That's his issue. He doesn't have a visa.
The visa.
So
I
who?
forgot about that.
Diamond Con.
Diamond Con.
Oh.
He's Canadian.
Yeah, but do they
Yeah.
just what if they just like let him like? I mean, let me see. This wouldn't be ideal. What if they just let him play from Canada online?
Yeah, it's
Because he
not-
comes to the events anyways.
that-
I don't think that's
he,
Is
can't,
there-
he can't compete the events.
Wait, why? He's here. He's playing here.
Bro, if he doesn't have a visa, he can't work in the U.S.
I guess you're right. What if they
Yeah, he can't do that.
what's this loophole? Because he's signed to the academy team. He's paid by them. I'm assuming.
I mean, what has he applied for a visa?
It's this is not a very difficult on-stream conversation. It's like there's always like a gray area with challengers and traveling and the overseas stuff. Like I don't think you can't expect every challengers player to get a visa.
Whatever. Either way,
But like at a pro side, if he's gonna compete, he's gotta have a visa.
they're just in a tough spot because I do truly think that their respawn issues stem from that whole double AR thing. They just played their AR duo plays slower than every other
Wait,
AR duo's
But
game.
to sum up what you're saying drop Alec and pick up Diamond Con?
In an ideal world with the way Alex been playing now, yeah,
But doesn't that not solve the double AR problem?
Diamond's a flex.
Yeah, Diamond Con is more of a flex.
Diamond is a
Right.
flex.
Is he gonna play
He's more
this,
AR heavy.
This
Is he
is-
though.
gonna
this
play with the speed they
conversation's-
want though?
This conversation, bro, they literally were on the academy team together and found success and literally were pushing good teams.
Bro, I don't. Regardless, I don't
At the
think,
beginning of the year,
I don't
though.
think LAG is signing any player.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Like,
I
this
agree.
conversation is pointless.
They're not going to do
I'm
anything.
just saying, either way, these guys don't really have many options. They just have their substitutes. So, like, what do they bring Spart back? If Alex not playing well?
Maybe. It's going to have to be a substitute.
I mean, arguably
Spart or
looking,
Neptune.
looking at this stat, I mean, Marky B played just as good as Alec.
Marky B, he did
Well-
his thing. He did all right. He went 13-13 in the control, and then I think he went 0-6
So, chat, I'm not
in the
faded.
S&D.
Everyone here agrees that their issue is they have two main AR players that just traditionally play slower.
Yeah.
And the one that's been playing the best is Assault. So, naturally, if you were to make a change, what do you do?
Yeah. Nah, I don't know what's going to happen with LAG moving forward. I definitely think with the whole news coming out that they're laying people off and trying to sell the spot, I just don't think they care about this team anymore. And it's sad, man. It is sad to say that, but I don't think they care. I don't think they're going to make any changes. They're not going to spend any money. I don't think they're going to do anything. The most they can do is go to their bench and maybe bring in Neptune or Spart. But we'll see what happens with LAG moving forward. Vegas, I mean, we'll talk about the Vegas team in the LA Thieves match because we'll see them again in a losers round 2. But let's go over to the next one. We got the Minnesota Rokkr going up against the Los Angeles Thieves. Let's switch on over and take a look at the
It's my
stat sheet
favorite
here
series of the day.
and see what's going on. I mean, Pat, we'll let you kick it off here, but this was a 3-0 sweep. LA Thieves took care of Minnesota Rokkr with ease.
I mean, it's tough to sit here and say like I told you guys, but I told you guys. Listen, I know none of us had faith coming into this event because they went 0-5 in the online stuff, but.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, to me at least, coming out of Boston, I kind of just saw right through this team. I think these guys are fraudulent, to keep it nice. I just don't think they have it. And I know they tweeted like, oh, it's just a terrible performance out of us, blah blah blah. I think there was a video of like Looney bitching at them for being late to practice and all kinds of stuff.
It's Brian Saint, but yeah.
I thought it was Looney in the clip that I watched. It was Looney.
Yeah,
bitching.
there's another clip of Dan talking about them being late to practice.
Where's
Yeah.
this? Where's this video?
It was on Reddit.
Oh, really?
You guys gotta check out Reddit.
How did that even
Well,
make
bro,
it to the internet?
Well, here's the issue with this team, bro.
Bitching at them.
First off, they absolutely tossed first map. Like they had everything set up. They got the P2 back spawns, and then they just didn't push out.
Yeah.
And these broke them to the front, so that was unacceptable. In general, with this Rokkr team, just don't play quick. They don't play organized. And with Vegas now making a deep run, and we'll get to him later in this, That 40-point lead that they had in 8th spot is now 20. Their margin for error is they're back in the same problem they had last year, bro. A good start to the season, got enough points, but bro, like this team, if they continue to struggle, continue to just stick with it and don't get results, like they may not make it for champs for the 2nd year in a row.
Why are they still a roster, Ben?
I don't know whether a roster now after the series, and you responded to the tweet. Brett Diamond, who's COO of Version 1, which is parent company of Rokkr, did the classic thing of tweeting, it was unacceptable with the results. We have trust in our coaching staff. I would assume all options on the table for this team because they got to turn around ASAP.
I think what they mean is that their coaching staff will make decisions whether they stick together or like opt to bring in some of their challenger players.
Well, who's making decisions
or
on
if
their
they bring in
coaching
like
staff,
somebody,
Chris?
or if they try to get somebody like
Got to be the
for
whole
example,
staff
Sonny or
probably
something.
together, no?
I think this team's issue is they did the reverse Seattle. They did exactly what Seattle did. They had a good stage in Major 1, but this time it was Major 2 for Rokkr, and then they came back and just got absolutely smoked. The issue with like
I don't believe the Major 2.
Well, they had a good Major.
They had Bance and
No,
Afro.
They got top
listen,
three,
bro,
like,
I don't
six.
care. I'm just saying, regardless, they had a good Major. I'm not even saying that. Listen, let me finish my point. The thing is, though, with Seattle, they always had a niche. They were just really fucking good at respawn, hardpoint specific. Rokkr, they were like pretty like average or like above average at like most things, but they weren't exceptional at any one thing. And I think this is where I don't trust this team to turn it around next stage because
I don't either.
they never had something they could lean on.
Yo, is there a fight breaking out?
Seattle's woes were always
It's just some challenge.
Seattle's woes always came from one game mode. This team's woes come from every game
Bro,
mode.
they're on a 13-game losing streak in Surge.
I think
13.
I think if I were this team, I would look at making a change. I get it that there are people on their team that bring intangibles or maybe are good at certain things or have played well in the past, but this team just needs a new look because they don't have a niche at all. And they're struggling.
They have no real win conditions, no map pool. They have a little bit of a break now. I think there's a 2-week break right between this major, next one.
Yeah.
They have a lot of time now to trial a bunch of different versions of the roster and maybe find one that works, just like what Florida did. Because they're going nowhere and they're sinking fast, and teams at the bottom are getting better, and they may not make it for champs for the 2nd year in a row. And I think for that franchise, that's 100% unacceptable.
The biggest problem with Minnesota Rokkr is they don't make use of their kills. They get kills, they don't do anything with them.
Too fucking slow.
They
on the
just
map.
stand around and just like hold irons and just do nothing. Like, I feel like Afro's definitely the one guy on the team that I feel like is trying to get active and trying to make plays and be an impact. But I get really frustrated watching them play sometimes, and I don't know how they don't see it when they go back and review some of these games.
Every Rokkr team we have seen since Modern Warfare 2019 had the exact same fucking problem. It's the one that you described. They had the same problem on for 2019. Asen was the only one that played fast. The same problem in Cold War, and they picked up Standing. They got a little bit better. They were still slow. Last year, they were incredibly slow, and Standing didn't play that good. And so they end up doing a full roster-wide, making all these changes. Preston went to New York. And then this team's got the exact same problem again. Like,
Yeah,
I don't get it, man.
I agree. And then the Minnesota lost 13 straight S&Ds now, which is I think is a record. Which is crazy because they broke Seattle Surge's record, I think.
That's hard to do.
Which is very hard to do. I mean, we were shocked when it happened to Seattle.
How many times has this team been 3-0'd? That's the difference with Seattle. Is like Seattle was just losing searches, but they were still like winning other maps at times.
Yeah.
This team is getting just 3-0
Yeah,
smoked
they're not even
all
winning
the time,
maps,
bro.
and-
Like, and that's what I'm saying. They just need to make a change. I think the only person on this team that is safe is Afro, simply because him more often than not is their pop-off guy. And everyone else on their team is just inconsistent as fuck.
Well, listen, let's move on to the next series. Obviously, Minnesota Rokkr go home. We'll pay close attention to see what goes on there. We're probably going to expect some changes there. If not, they got a lot of stuff to work on, so I'm not really too sure what's going on in that camp.
Who can they even get?
They'll dip into challengers. They got an academy team,
Right? That's the only
like maybe
play.
like Real or somebody.
I think the only if just looking at their academy team, since
They need a new look.
I know them all. I think Pander and Godorex are usually considered slower players. They're not considered like the super speedy cracked ARs. Not saying that any of them can't do it. So if you're just looking at their team, they're probably looking at their subs to at least make one change there. I do think Pander could be a good flex and a good leader, but at the same time, I don't know if they're going to look to their ARs because I think they invested a lot in Attach. Obviously, they built this team around him. And then I think Cammy, has still been up and down, but I think Vance has been the most inconsistent player for this team, and it's not. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying like he's either winning them games or just bottling.
Yeah,
out
I mean,
games.
all
Cammy
say
fits that too. Cammy fits
Cammy
that.
fits that too.
Yeah.
Chris, all I'll say is I love Dylan. He's my guy. Manage him, but I think all options are on the. I think Afro's probably the only player on this team
That's why I said.
that's undroppable. I mean, even Dylan. I just think Rokkr have to start trying a bunch of versions of rosters that may include versions of different ARs, different subs, and try and find over the next 2 weeks what works. And I don't think they can play favorites just because they gave someone a big contract.
I think trialing is
They
a
gotta
good
try and
idea
win.
if they have time.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I know I'm sure the coaches are going to have to sit down and talk amongst themselves and see what they want to do. But we'll pay close attention to the Minnesota Rokkr moving forward. But let's hop into the next one. We got another losers round one. We got Optic Texas going up against the London Royal Ravens. This one went all the way down to a map number 5. I think a lot of people thought Optic was going to run away with this one. But London put up an absolute fight, and obviously, Optic was able to pull through in the map 5, get the W. I mean, I'll kick things off. I thought Nasty and Asim today for London was like unbelievable, especially Nasty. He was insane. The plays that this guy was making around the map, I think he was a big reason why they even got to a last map personally.
Yeah.
But love to hear what you guys think, as well as I still think Optic's making mistakes that they shouldn't be making. I think this is a team that if Optic's playing the right way and keeping their fundamentals in check. I mean, even in the first map, I think it was big from Optic when in the second rotation they just really started. Or sorry, not the first map, the fourth hard point. The fourth map, the second hard point. I feel like Optic did such a better job in the second set of rotations, just rotating, holding lanes, chaining hills, like staying disciplined. Where the first set of hard points, it just seemed like they were always running and just in that mindset of just go, go, go. I think they're definitely going to have to work on that when they play top teams because it could really hurt them. I think top teams will punish them for stuff like that. So curious to hear what you guys think. But for me, MVP of the series was Nasty. I thought he played great for London, but obviously London, they got the loss today. They're going home. Not really too sure what's up with these guys in the future. But, I mean, Chris, we'll start with you on this one.
I think on the side of Optic, you got to give the MVP of that series to Dashi. I think Dashi started to play a lot better, and he was fucking bailing them out.
Yeah,
like
Bruce
so many
saved them like 3 or 4 times.
It was absurd. Yeah, he was saving the fuck out of his
He was going
team.
crazy.
In terms of Optic, dude, Hook Online, compared to his LAN performances right now, he's just not
Sound
transitioning
EQ merchant.
He's just not transitioning it, statistically at least. He needs to start playing better for this team. I still think a lot of people are still scapegoating Ghosty, and I'm not saying Ghosty is playing necessarily the best, but we've already talked about what he's doing for the team and how, like, that's just not, like, you can't rely on him to do that, being a new guy. But on top of that, the only thing I think you can criticize Ghosty on is his search play. His search play has not been good. And I'll tell you, his search play was not good. But the respawns, in terms of why they're losing, I don't think you can really just blame him. On top of that, these guys are playing Fortress Control every series.
Yeah,
and
how is that happening?
Bro, because they suck.
No
they
idea.
suck so much.
Dude.
No, Optic needs to veto that map. I'm sorry. They got to get that map out of there,
I was malding
bro.
before the series because, like, we saw the vetoes
You were
and
balding?
malding. Like, I was like upset because Optic banned a CeeLo control in the series. I know they're not good at it, but London have not won that at all this season.
They haven't won it once.
It's
like 0-4 or something.
It's like, bro, you're just wait. Like, I get it, man. Like, they're not confident in that game. The Optic, weirdly enough, one of the worst control teams in the game. But, like, I don't agree with the Fortress, like, 50-50 play here. They keep losing it. They're, like, 1-6 on the map now or
They
something
need to just stop playing it because I feel like the fact that they're, like, I don't know if these guys are actually this fried, but the fact that they're getting rounds because they're, like, guaranteed to win defenses is, like, making them play. It's like, oh, we're competitive at it. And yeah, no shit, because everyone's winning defenses. Everyone's competitive at it. Stop fucking playing it. Like, unless you're playing a team that is by far better than you at asserting control map and mode, I get it if it makes in a series. But that's not London. The fact that it made in this series was a fucking joke. Yeah, just terrible ideas. On the side of London, though, I think we've all been pretty high on Asim. I know he hasn't played, like, superstar performance every time, but I feel like he's, like, not the reason why this team struggles. I think he's doing everything he can.
Him and Nasty are really
and I've
good
also
this
said
series.
this before. Nasty's a good player. He's on. I feel like he's just on a bad team right now. I think London's problem, and even though they've been pretty competitive, at least in their last recent matches, the reason why they can't string games on the board is they don't have a second sub. Paul is not a sub player. He is a flex. He was a fucking flex in Vanguard.
Yeah.
He started off this team as a flex, and they just bullied him onto a sub. Or maybe he wanted to run it because he felt like he'd be better at it.
They've been playing better with the role change. Like, I agree with you.
They needed a change.
But they're not. He's not a fucking sub player, dude.
I mean, listen. I'll say this, even that aside, bro, I don't care if he's wearing an AR and a sub. Last map, he's the one holding the pinch in like 3 different situations and gives it up. Sub AR in her hand. I know sometimes like certain lanes are harder to hold, but like, bro, you're playing Optic on Mercado. You know Shotzi is pinching every life. Why are we giving up the pinch and throwing away rounds? Like, I think it's just, if they want to get better, it's probably without Paul, but similar to LAG, when the work situations, it's tough for them to make a change.
Yeah, I mean, that's like regardless of the play-by-play that you just gave, just from the eye test, bro, they don't have a second sub player that is playing well or playing up to the standards. I think Scraps, although he didn't have like the best series, you can see he's still putting up damage and he's still contributing to the team in a certain way. This team just doesn't have another sub, and I feel like if they can get a good aggressive sub from wherever, these guys might actually stand a chance in being able to come away with
And
something.
they could have, bro.
If these two,
Bro,
Sam and
we
Nasty,
talked through
play
the
well.
series. Like London played really good on the Hydro. They absolutely tossed the end of that Fortress S&D.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know how
did.
they lost that. Map 4, they were up big after the first rotation. Absolutely broke down at P1, P2, lost that one. Like, this was a very winnable series. I think for London, you know, they just find new ways to lose. And I think you're right about your point. On the Optic side, I just want to circle back and talk about them. Like, you grind this one out, I don't think they played that good in this series. I think
No.
Bruce hardcore bailed them out. I think Kyler's decision making is still a massive problem on this team.
Those that S&D Fortress was criminal.
It was criminal,
Well, let's-
bro.
I was
let's
like,
go to,
oh my god, I thought they were gonna lose.
Let's go to Pat. I want to get Pat's thoughts on this. I mean, Pat, you mentioned sound equalization. Cheese. Who are you even talking about? Who's cheesing?
Somewhat Kyler.
You talking about Kyler?
Yeah. I mean, we talk about this like with players who like don't have the best awareness, and like Austin's called this out. Like when players and even teams don't have the best awareness in game decision making, sound bails you out.
It does.
That is what it
Online,
does.
the LAN is so different
Yeah,
in this
and
game.
that's
It's stupid.
I don't even think the sound matters. It's the fact that it bails out the players who don't have good awareness. I think Kyler's a great example of that. Like we talked about some of his plays in general. He's not the only one as well on this team. I think. Listen, these guys are struggling. They got shit on yesterday by Boston. Let's call it what it was. They got shit on, and they're struggling to beat arguably a bottom 4 team. Like struggling, probably should have lost
I mean,
the
I
series
agree they
if
are
Bruce doesn't
struggling,
bail them
but
out.
they have two people that like overperformed. At least one person that massively overperformed. The 1.3 out of Nasty. I don't think we've seen that the entire time.
Nah, Nasty said something like
But
He's had some
one-ish.
good. He's had some good series. I'm
No,
not saying.
today,
that's kinda
he
like
was
Rokkr.
insane
He was
today.
insane today.
I
He was
still
nuts
agree with
today.
you. Like this is unacceptable. But it was a crazy massive.
Listen, if I'm an
overperformance.
Optic fan, I'm worried. I'm not an Optic fan, but I am worried if I am one. Because I mean, I haven't seen one good thing out of this team yet. Not one. I've seen a Bruce bailout, and we've kind of known that was a known quantity. Like Bruce has been capable of that all season long.
He bailed him
That's
out a
kinda
few
what
times,
he does.
Ghosty went positive in the series.
Bro, this is what we talk
Thank God for my fantasy.
This is what we talk about.
He's struggling.
Listen, it's the same Optic team we've been talking about, bro. They have enough talent to win events with this team, but because of their decision making, how inconsistent, how disciplined they are, they're gonna have series like they had against Boston. Where they're gonna get smoked, and they have series like this where they're gonna grind them out. But you know they've got now a really interesting run. We'll talk about the next series that has a big effect now
They're
on their
probably
run.
gonna play Fortress Control again, Ben.
Wait, what
my
team?
God.
Who are they
if I-
playing next?
Florida.
Florida, bro. If I see them play Fortress Control, I'm gonna lose it, bro. I'm gonna actually lose it.
Yeah, and obviously we'll get to the matches tomorrow because we got some interesting matchups to get to. And this is what Ben was talking about. It's going to the next one. We had the Florida Mutineers going up
even know how
against the
this
New
will happen.
York Subliners. This was one that I don't think anybody expected. The Major 1 champions get eliminated today to the Florida Mutineers, 3-1. Florida came out. They took care of business. And honestly, I thought Florida looked good. I think we got to talk about the first map. I think Florida, the comeback on the
toss.
first map was insane. I mean, New York was up so many points. I'm not sure the exact number, but the way Florida was able to stay composed and bring it back was just super, super impressive. And then they went into the S&D, and it was clinical from them. I mean, they made the S&D look easy. I think that's where Florida is going to shine in the search and destroys.
No, they've been horrible.
But,
they've been horrible at search
but
recently.
they're a new team. They're a new team. I feel like they have good S&D players. I feel like on land they're going to shine in S&D, and they looked really good today.
Bro,
I
what
mean-
the fuck are the stats of this
Dude,
series?
that's what I was saying. I'm not.
Well,
it doesn't even make sense.
it's because
Yeah,
of the
it's-
control, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I think this really. When the same way we talked about Optic, right now New York's in this weird box where they're so day to day. Some days they get on and they can beat everybody just hot 3-0, and some days they get on they're just completely and utterly off.
Yeah.
And I think the weakest performances have come from the AR players at times, but I don't know if that's a product of they're just day to day and they're just sometimes on or off, or their systems needs a little bit of work. But they tossed the first map. They got absolutely curb stomped on the Fortress S&D. Like, bro, Havoc was like doing pull-ups on the railings.
Yeah.
At, like
It was
on
looked it was a
offense,
clinical
control.
it was
It's
a
like,
clinical
bro,
search.
It's clinical, and then obviously the control went to New York because
I think that's been their issue. Is like I've said this before. We're getting to a stage in the year where like everyone is gonna be able to take a hard point off you.
Yeah.
Like everyone's gonna be competitive in that mode, and sometimes with the way this game is, we've all talked about some spawns, the
Yeah.
sound horn, just the
No,
fact like
no,
there's
hold
No
tons
on.
of
red
things.
dots.
Hold
No
on,
red
they didn't
dots.
lose that map on, bro. They lost.
Bro, I'm
that
not
map.
saying they
They
did.
didn't lose
I'm
that
talking
map on
about
spawns, bro.
I'm just talking about like in general. Like this is gonna happen like versus every team. It might not happen necessarily now or whatever. Like they can't just simply rely on beating people in hardpoint. They got to get good at search, and they are not good at
No,
search.
they've been decent.
They've been okay.
They've gone from being bad to okay in search in the split, but like
But look, they literally played this
I mean,
series and they lost a search, and they lost, and it was just over. The same thing happened versus Toronto. They lost the search, and the series was over.
they have a
literally-
tough time getting over this O2 start.
Yeah.
I mean, the hardpoint choke was criminal though, because they had the rotation of P6. Like they I'm pretty sure they flipped for P6 and they got broke in the back. Like I don't know about all that. Very disappointing placement for New York. I think dead last. They got top 8 the last event, dead last at this one. Again, they're lucky they won the first event. Otherwise, they might be in real trouble for chance qualification. I don't know if they need a roster change. I don't think really Wardy's going to fix or change anything in this team, but I just think they need a rethink on whatever they're doing in terms of prep for online and LAN matches. They've been hella inconsistent.
I think
now
Priesta in
for a
general.
month and a half.
I think Priesta in general in their at least in the stats category, hasn't been playing up to the level
Nope.
that he was playing in the
Correct.
first major, which is kind of unfortunate. I don't think he's been playing terrible, but he has not been playing as good. And on top of that, coupled with their search play, like they're just starting to lose HPs, and they just haven't been that good at search.
They don't do anything together.
That's what I'm saying. They're not able to get away with these situations anymore because teams caught up to them in hardpoint, and then they're just not that good at search. So they're just relying on like trying to win these controls, and it's just
Also,
not
feel
panning
like
out
they're
in the
not
long
a
run in the
very
series.
resilient team. Like in general, like I just don't think this team handles adversity well in series. Like,
Put your mic up a little bit, Pat.
oh my bad.
Yeah, you're good.
They lose this close series, and I feel like they're just a different team when shit like that happens. When they lose close games that are just like catch them off guard type
Yeah.
games.
Mm-hmm.
Cause yeah, I mean, like Ben said, they got literally a curb stomp map too, and I don't think that's like the case if they don't get clutched up on game 1.
I mean, the fourth map was a close map. It was pretty back and forth. I know Havoc made a little solo play at
Yeah.
the end. It was getting really, really close.
Definitely
And
greasy play.
yeah, and Havoc made a I like that, Ben. Made a greasy play, did a little sneak play to get the dub. I know the control was a clean sweep for New York. I mean, they looked really good in control. So a quick 3-0. For me, I think Search and Destroy is a problem for New York. I feel like every time they play it, they just rely on a Hydra to do something crazy or just rely on somebody to make an individual play. I just feel like they need to find a system or go over their search and just try and figure out what they want to do and what the objective is, because sometimes they just seem like they're not on the same page in that game
They
mode.
need some strategic diversity. But like I said, dude, look at that fucking hardpoint, that fourth map. Hardpoints nowadays are coming down to like somebody just making like a really cool heads-up play
Yeah.
or like some weird fugazi happening, and teams come away with wins they probably you don't think they would. And
Yeah.
it comes down to those searches. It's the only consistent game mode in this game right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see teams like Atlanta FaZe just dominating that one game mode on like every map.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure. I mean, if you're New York, I mean, you go back to the drawing board, you figure it out. I still think when you watch them play, they're a great team. They're a super talented team. I mean, I don't think this team's going anywhere. I think they're just going to go back, try and fix some of the little mistakes that they made, and come back in the next stage and try and make a run. And then for Florida, obviously we'll get into predictions at the end of the series, but congrats to them because I thought it was a good series for them. I thought a couple of these maps were really close, and they were able to make those ice winning plays, those clutch winning plays to send them to the next round.
And they're still battling to try and get that 8th spot.
Yeah, they're still battling. They're trying to get the champs, obviously, so they need points here, man. And you know Florida's feeding for those
On
points.
the side of Florida, because we didn't really touch on them, like, I mean, good for them, bro. It's good to see them come out and upset a top team like this, especially with the roster change. Havoc played pretty damn good, and he obviously made a game-winning play.
I feel like they're a gritty team.
Yeah. So good for him, because, I mean, I've been hard on Havoc. I feel like I've said that Havoc doesn't play very systematic and fundamental. And
Right.
Either way, it's panned out for them so far. So let's see if they can keep it going.
Yes, sir. And then we hop into the final series of the day. This one was unreal, dude. What a series. The Los Angeles Thieves going up against the Vegas Legion. Vegas Legion take them out 3-1, and the world champions are going home for the weekend. They will not be playing this weekend. What did they finish? Top 8, was it? Top 6?
Yeah, top 8.
Top 8. What happened to LA Thieves today? What went wrong?
Brother?
What happened to them this event, bro?
What's the name of Scum Stew podcast?
The breakdown.
That's what happened to
Bro,
them.
No way.
Map. Okay, so let's go map by map in this one. Map 1 might have been one of the biggest comebacks we've ever seen. It was, what, 148 points?
It was 206 to, what
60.
was it, 60. 206 to 60.
On a hotel, like
That is insane.
on a hotel.
Rotate the kitchen, like, and just
It was
sit in the fucking
5
corners.
hills. I swear the kill feed was all orange. It was all Vegas for like 4 or 5 hills. Like I've never seen anything like that. It was
Bro.
insane. They couldn't win a gunfight. It was
Bro, they
nuts.
got 27 points in like 5.
Yeah, it was nuts, dude. It's almost like I don't know what happened. It's like they dropped their controllers. And there was a little people were complaining about what the stair glitching.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? What happened, man? What's going on?
Nah, I'm just watching it to wheel stuff out.
Oh, Jesus. He's like zoned in over there. I was like, what's going on over there?
I think just there's wheeling platforms away. But nah, man, I think like they broke down map 1. I don't think you can blame anyone in specific on Thieves. I think they all just couldn't. Bro, they got up to like 100 star.
They
It looked
trolled.
Like, we're like GG go next, and then bro, you can't when you play Vegas on LAN. They are everybody's second favorite team because people want to see this team succeed, and they started getting that momentum in the crowd. You heard how loud it was, and you know what happens with Clay when that's going off. This man starts to turn Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
He was absolutely just. He got like probably like 5 kills in a row, double arch. Like I don't know how that's possible, and they clutched up at the end, man. And then they went to search, and we know Asilo Search is a house of horrors for LA Thieves. And again in this series, bro, time and time again with this LA Thieves team, bro, they are really good at getting first bloods. I think they went to they go to round 11.
Yeah,
they
went
had
to round
11.
11.
They had 8 first bloods in 11
and-
rounds
yeah.
and won 5 of them.
Yeah.
Like you just at this level, you just cannot keep throwing.
They're so
your
bad with their
4v3s
numbers,
away.
dude. I don't know what it is, but it's like when they have an advantage, they just like lose their heads.
But I don't.
They don't group up. They're always separate.
That's
If
how
you
I feel
watch all
about
their
New York.
plays, they never group up when they get these numbers. They're always separated from each other. And whenever a guy gets in a fight, bro, look at that one round where Envoy was on that orange truck on a silo, and he was in a gunfight. It was such a long gunfight. Both people used their entire clips. Why the fuck is nobody like helping him?
Yeah.
Like and just getting that kill. They're just separated. They're not helping each other in search. Obviously, there's probably more nuance to that, but I mean, like for Thieves, this event. Outside of like us talking about their S&D and not being able to close out numbers, which has been a problem the entire time. I mean, they just fell flat. Like they just had a shitty event. It's happened to more than one team. I don't really know if we can talk much more about that in terms of at least the Thieves camp. But dude, for the Vegas team, they've looked a lot better.
Playing Donnie,
they've
dude.
looked a lot better in respawn. With Turiel, I know they start off slow, but the fact that they were able to make that comeback and had that resilience obviously is a testament to, I guess, how much better and more composed this team has been with Turiel on their team. I still feel like their S&D has gotten worse. I feel like it was better with Prolute, but they were able to squeak that one out. Their control, bro.
So
control's
bad.
dog
shit.
So
fucking
dude, what is
bad.
wrong? Why? Dude, it looks like they're not even shooting back in
They're a
controls.
team who should just try to play Fortress every time.
Yeah, could just try and play the Mickey Mouse. But
Yeah.
I'm sure teams are vetoing Fortress against Vegas. There's no way.
Which is why
win
happened
Makes no sense because
rounds,
it gets in
bro.
against every other team.
Bro,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, they won. I thought it was looking like maybe they turned a corner because they won a hotel control like earlier on this major split. And we're like, oh, maybe Turiel will improve their control. No. This team is utterly lost in that game mode. Like
They lost to Marky B on Fortress. They can't play that map, bro.
Yeah, no, they actually
They
can't.
lost an offense.
bro. So,
They got 3-0'd. They got 3-0'd in the control, and it just
Let's
went
get
by
Timmy.
so fast. It
But then-
just
but
was
then we got
nuts.
to the last hard point, our Mercado hard point, which for both teams has been a decent bread and butter map for both. And I think, man, Turiel is making some insane plays that map. Dom was making some insane plays that map. And what have we seen again, bro? It comes down to like P5, P6 momentum grab. A team gets P5. They get flipped. They don't get P6. Streaks come in. They get 60-point clubbed. And then it got a little sketchy at the end with Vegas. Like, they kind of trolled the P3.
A little bit.
And then they clutched up on the P4 to win. And I think we've talked a lot about Vegas looking for this sort of signature LAN win with this team. I know they had a pretty decent top 8 placing at Major 1. They got top 8 at Major 1, right? It was on top 6? Top 8?
Top 8, I think.
Yeah.
The chat will know. Chat, what did Vegas get?
Donnie
Major one?
also fried this.
But
this
Donnie
series.
played
He had
really
a
good in this
1.3,
series.
bro.
He had a
Yeah,
1.8
I mean,
in the series
That-
before.
both.
Yeah.
Listen, what do we talk about when this team first formed? We're like, if they're going to win, it's because their ARs, their star ARs need to go off, and the sub players making plays off of that. It's exactly what they got for today.
They got
I know
top 6.
I know the stats aren't super pretty for their subs, but they were both making plays, and the ARs were just unkillable today.
Well,
I feel
the
like
fourth
the
map.
communication was really good too.
Yeah.
My bad,
Yeah.
Tom.
The
Whenever
I don't
they did
even
a
mind the
listening.
stats. I don't even mind the stats for their subs. They have, I mean, look, this kills are spread.
The damage
pretty
is good
evenly.
too.
TJ
Yeah.
and 2 Real really kicked up in a map 4. I think they really showed out
Yeah.
and showed what they're capable of. They were just taking good routes. They were winning big rotational gunfights, just being a nuisance, being annoying. I mean, you could look at the stats, but if you watch the series, I mean, they were making plays for sure. I feel like the stats for the sub players don't really show the whole picture. But I think Donnie has been unreal for these guys. Donnie Temp has
event?
been that guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's been that
He's that
guy, dude. The amount of 2 pieces and the clutch plays that he makes. I mean, even in the S&D when he clutched up that 1v1 against Kenny and closed it out with Clay. I know him and Clay had a little moment on stage where they were getting hyped up. I like the duo, man. I like the Clayster
probably-
and Temp duo. I
He's
like
probably
that.
the stat leader for the tournament, to be honest.
He might be. I don't know exactly what
He had
the
a
tournament full
he had
stats
a
are.
1.8 and then a 1.3.
Yeah, that is
I don't
insane.
know how long these are going to be able to keep this up, but I still think obviously their biggest issue is going to be that control. I feel like they've regressed in search a little bit with 2 Real, but their hard points look better. But like, I feel like their dynamic is just so weird between their subs because I feel like T just so good at search, but he's just not very good at respawn. And I feel like 2 Real's better in respawn and just not that good at search. So like, they have like a give or take in terms of like their sub duo, which
The
is
thing
like
about
so
them
weird.
is I love the matchup that they might have tomorrow if they play Breach.
If they play Breach, they have a chance.
I think they have a really good chance.
I think they have a chance.
Yeah, maybe we could take a look at the matches tomorrow. I got them pulled up. Really good win for Vegas, man. I think they really showed out today. I think it might even be a little confidence booster for them. I mean, they took down a really good team, so they might be feeling pretty good going into tomorrow. Excited to see how Vegas comes out to play. But let's take a look at some of the matches tomorrow. We start things off with Optic, Texas, going up against the Florida Mutineers, man. Florida is a scary matchup for Optic. I know it's a new roster, right? They haven't this new roster. They didn't.
This history kind of repeat
They
itself.
haven't put up
But it's
yet.
I
It's
just
the
feel
Dave
like
Patty factor, bro. He's not.
Is
he's
it
not-
Dave Patty?
It was the Dave Patty factor.
Are
in
you sure?
Vanguard. It
I don't-
was.
I don't know if it was Dave Patty. I don't know if it's just like a mental block. I don't know. But I just always feel like when Optic meets up against
Or was it
Florida,
the Major Maniac.
it's just a
is like
scary sight for the Green Wall fans, man. It's a scary
This is like
sight.
the worst matchup I think you would want for an Optic. Like, Florida just play unorthodox.
They're so weird.
full
Yeah, they
speed.
just play weird as hell.
Yeah, it's
New York would have been worse for them. They actually, I would say Optic kind of dodged. If they had played New York first match, I was like, I don't know. I think Optic will get done against Florida, but based on recent history, this one might be a game 5er, bro.
I don't think they. I mean,
This one might be a
I,
full
I,
distance.
I favor Florida in both S&Ds, and I also think there's going to be a fortress control in this series.
There's no way.
Bro,
I will lose composure if Optic doesn't
think
veto
it's
that
gonna-
map.
I think it's going to be a fortress control.
Why wouldn't Optic just veto? Just get it out.
Why would they
what is
veto
their
it
what is their record
today?
against it? On
No,
fortress
no,
control?
here's the
They're
thing,
like
though.
1-6
Here's the
now.
thing. The new Florida team doesn't play a CeeLo anymore.
Yeah.
So if they're smart, they force hotel.
Yeah, they should
Because
100%
Optic
play
don't play a
hotel.
CeeLo either, bro. Oh, it's
They
such
have
a
to force
clusterfuck,
hotel,
bro.
otherwise they're going to another Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Bro, I think it's going to be a fortress.
There could be Hydra in the series, bro. Like, I think, listen, all said and done, I think Optic will find a way and get it done in game 5, but it's not going to be pretty, I don't think.
You think they're going to get it done twice, back-to-back days in game 5?
Yeah, I think so.
Nah, they don't got ice like that.
I don't know. I feel like Optic's the better team, but the only thing is you don't know what
I
kind of
would-
Optic we're gonna get.
I would agree with that, except I saw Florida smoke New York.
Yeah, which was really threw us off for sure. And then of course we got the matchup, right? Tyler Fellow going up against Dan Ghosty. That's like the duo right there, man. They're like brothers. They
Twins.
sound the same. They look the
They're
same.
the
They
same
played
person.
together.
I still think they're the same person.
Yeah, they seem like the same person to me, man. So I just feel like that's a really exciting matchup. Personally, I'm gonna go with Optic in the last map here. I'm gonna go 3-2 Optic. I could see this one being a grueler,
Listen,
but Chris, who do you got?
I think Dan has a chance here. He's going up against a couple challenger players. Outside of Havoc, Brack was in challengers for a bit. Bello was in challengers, and Cap was also in challengers. So these are some players that he's probably used to playing. He might be a little bit more comfortable. Know their tendencies a little bit. I think I got Optic taking it, but I mean, I don't know. This could go either way with the way Optic's been playing.
Who do you got, Pat? You got Florida or Optic?
He's gonna say Florida.
You see it in his face, bro.
Wait. What are you guys talking about?
Who you
Listen,
got, bro? Who do you got?
This is a
He's
tough
gonna
one.
say Florida.
You think so?
Dude,
He's not gonna say Optic's gonna
relax.
win,
Let me
man.
think about it, let me think.
This guy's a
Okay.
rat.
I'm actually gonna go with Optic here.
Oh,
No
shit.
way.
I think Optic's gonna get 3-0'd by Florida.
No way.
Oh,
This guy
heck
can't
no.
be serious,
Guys,
bro.
You're
guys.
annoying, bro.
3-0? You think they're gonna get
Yeah, I
3-0?
think it's gonna be a
Are you
3-0.
trolling?
I
You
think
gotta
it's
be
I think
trolling,
it's
bro.
gonna be a quick and done.
Man, hey, but last time weren't you right last time you said that?
I was.
That was crazy, bro. This guy just be this guy be
I
trolling,
don't think it's
bro.
gonna be
This
like a
guy's so
DoorDash
dumb,
challenge
dude.
3-0. I think it's gonna be a grueler 3-0.
Like a grueler 3-0.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
interesting.
3-0 indeed.
All right, Ben, you agree with that?
For like Florida 3-0ing Optic?
Yeah, do you agree with that?
No, you're faded for that. But I could see like
Faded early, same shit.
I could see Florida going up 2-0 and then getting a reverse sweep. That I could see.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this series. It's the first series of the day, so we're gonna start things off hot tomorrow. Excited to get into that one. And we got Atlanta FaZe going up against Seattle Surge. This is always a tough matchup for Atlanta FaZe. I don't know what it is. I just feel like Seattle matches up well against them. I feel like it's like their hard counter in some way. But with that being said, I feel like FaZe is playing some of the best COD they've ever played right now. I feel like they look insane. I mean, I've heard about their scrims. Heard they're not even dropping maps.
They're impossible to bet against.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like you can't bet against FaZe right now with the way they've been playing. I feel like they're very confident right now as well. Things have just been looking good. Practice is looking good. Boys are feeling good. They came out. They got a really quick W, and they move on to play Seattle. I'm going to go with FaZe in this one. I'll say 3-1. I can see Seattle taking a map, but I don't see them taking down FaZe tomorrow. But I'm curious to see what you guys think, Pat. What do you got?
I think if Seattle can come out and win this game 1, I think they could push the distance. But if they don't win that game 1, I think they get 3-0'd.
I think the problem with this matchup for Seattle right now is the maps they've been getting good at search in, but we've seen them be competitive or win, are Hotel, Embassy, and Asilo. And we know FaZe is going to beat a Hotel. So they're going to have to they're either going to score up on both somehow, or they're going to have to win a Fortress or Mercado, and they have not played Mercado, so it's going to have to be Fortress, which we have not seen them win. Although
they tried the Mercado pick against them. If I remember correctly, they tried the Mercado pick against them.
They got
earlier in the season. They got slammed.
Bad.
So the Pats, again, I think Pat's right though. I think if Seattle win map 1 is an interesting series. If not, this might be a quick 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say
Agreed.
FaZe, obviously,
Yeah.
but like on some trolly shit we were talking about on the reverse sweep, I was gonna be like, for some reason, I have a feeling that Seattle Surge, if they play them, will be the team that beats FaZe in a search, because it's just like it would be hilarious. Like they were one of the worst search teams. If they end their like streak, it would be funny.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna say Seattle's gonna win. And it's they're either going to win last map because they would take the final search, or they're going to win 3-1 because they take the second search. On some trolley shit, mind you, but still, I'm gonna make the prediction for the LOLs.
All right. So anybody did you go, Pat? Did you give your prediction yet?
Yeah.
Okay, we got it. So let's go to the next. We got Toronto Ultra going up against Boston Breach. Bro, these matches tomorrow are insane, man. These are like the top teams right now going at it. This is gonna get really
This is
exciting.
the coin flip of the 3. This one's super. Like
I'm gonna go with Toronto Ultra on this one.
Bro, this is
I
a coin
just-
flip.
It is a coin flip. I feel like Boston right now. Actually, I don't know now. I don't know, bro.
I need to actually.
After
look
what
to
I
that
saw
series.
from Beans, it's like, can I bet
Yeah,
against
it's
Beans, bro?
Boston beat Toronto Ultra in their final match with Standy,
Yeah.
and now they're gonna bring They have Hixie on the team. They're gonna be looking for revenge.
Yeah, but that was the lose full series.
It was, yeah.
They just got back from the event. They haven't made a change yet, and they were obviously planning to make
It
a
was
change.
no, it was their second match. Was it the first?
That was their
match?
first
It was their
match.
first match.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Yeah.
I mean, who do you guys got in this one? I don't even know what to do here. I'm like lost on this one right now.
I got Toronto. I just think the way Kleenex is playing, Scrappy also, they've been like world starring consistently, and I haven't seen Beans do that consistently. Like he's definitely capable of it. He's done it in a series, but then he's also had series where he just got absolutely smoked. But
He's played well for. I mean,
I
he
feel
hasn't.
like
he hasn't-
Ultra has had
he
some up
hasn't
and downs.
world starred, but he's been playing good in their last couple series. I think outside of the first series
Yeah,
he played
but-
with that team, he played good
but
every other
Kleenex has
series.
been having like 1.2s. He's been playing like
Yeah,
an
yeah,
easy
yeah, I mean, yeah.
level. So yeah, I'm gonna go Ultra here. I also think we finally need to get a FaZe Ultra winner final.
We've been calling it.
Been calling that for a minute.
We have been
to see
waiting
it
for that.
Ultra, so
So I think that'll be a good series. So yeah, I'm gonna go Ultra 3-1.
All right, so you got Ultra 3-1, Chris. Who you going with?
I'm gonna go with the underdogs again.
Boston.
I think this is a
I
coin
wouldn't even call him an underdog.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think this is a
Yeah,
coin flip
pick 'em.
series because both teams have been playing really well in the stage,
Mm.
and both teams obviously had a really good win in their last two matches. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go with Boston. Just Fuck it. Let's throw it to the underdogs. I think this team can take it.
Guys,
I don't know
just
if they will,
chalking
but
his prediction counter on
bro, I
breaking
don't
point.
care about my prediction counter. I just like to have fun with it, you know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's a chalk to even go with Boston. I feel like Boston has a good chance in this series.
Yeah, this is a 50-50
Yeah, it
series
is.
with the way
It
both
is a
teams have been
50.
playing.
I agree. I definitely agree.
He also picked Surge.
Yeah, but that was an admitted troll.
Yeah, exactly. You're
Like,
just
yo,
chalking.
on some hilarious. You tell me that wouldn't be funny though. If Surge beat fucking FaZe off their record, off their streak in a search
I can tell you who
on
wouldn't-
one of their
That
best
would be
maps.
nuts.
I can tell you who wouldn't be laughing. Austin Litticoat.
Yeah,
well,
he
yeah,
did.
he would be fucking livid.
Yeah, I'm sure Austin will come back on the couch. I mean, he was here earlier today. We were talking to him a little bit about it, but even Sam in the interview was like, "Yeah, I mean, he smoked us. I mean, he had every right to talk a little bit after the game yesterday." So, Austin, Pat, what did you think about that? That's your guy right there, Austin. You ever see him get chirpy like that?
Yeah, see, I think because this is the problem here. FaZe has been winning so much S&D, like going on this crazy streak. They obviously aren't watching S&D VOD. I think Slasher's just going back and watching old me VOD and kind of learning.
Dude, shut up.
Dude, shut
Listen,
the
I've said in
fuck up.
interviews.
S&D maps.
Dude,
S&D
trash
maps.
talk.
Yeah, I
Talking
thought you were gonna
tips.
spit some knowledgeable take right there.
Unless
what do you mean?
unless some weird shit
Dude,
happens,
what is this
S&D
guy
maps
saying,
tomorrow
bro?
for FaZe Surge, a CeeLo, and
Yeah.
Fortress tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
no, I
Who do
think
you got, Ben? I'm gonna go Ultra 3-2.
I want to pick Boston, but I think I'm gonna pick Toronto Game 5. I don't know, bro. This is such a mixy series for both them. It means so much. Toronto trying to avenge what the fuck has happened to them from the last event, and obviously the change. Boston's been looking to make it deep in a tournament, and they've come so close, yet so far. So like, it means a lot to them. I think I'm gonna take Toronto, but bro, this one of the last two, especially this one, face Seattle and Toronto, Boston. Like, any one of those 4 teams can win this.
Yeah, well, listen, we'll see what happens tomorrow. We got a lot of great matches. We had a long day today, so we're definitely going to clean up and get out of here and get some rest for tomorrow. But, guys, I really appreciate everybody who was in the live stream all day today. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you to all of you guys behind us. I appreciate you guys.
Hey.
Thank you for sticking around and watching. And just thank you guys so much, man. Seriously, thank you for all the love, all the support. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, anchor.fm/theflank, to check out all the audio sites that we're on. And go follow @theflank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials, so make sure to go show him some love. Take care, brush your hair, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on another episode of The Flank, man. See y'all on the watch party. Take it easy, man. Good night.